What if I told you that you would need to hold a lot less XRP than you initially believed in order to rank in the top 1%? I'll be covering a lot of ground in this video about XRP, including its pricing, future prospects, and why owning a certain quantity of XRP can not only make you incredibly wealthy but also distinguish you from other XRP holders. Hi everyone, welcome to Pepo Coin channel. I hope that by the end of this video, individuals who are new to the channel will subscribe. It's no secret that Bitcoin owners have amassed enormous riches over time. Bitcoin has achieved enormous increases in comparison to all other assets, going from, less than $1 to more than $100,000. And when we consider that, we truly consider the direction that cryptocurrency and Bitcoin may take. However, if we're considering that, we also need to consider other cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum and even XRP. The Bitcoin all-time chart and all-time percentage are completely crazy. We do have the all-time high for Ethereum at about 57,000% throughout this period. Naturally, XRP at more than 36,000% follows. When we consider the past year for XRP, it has been a very successful year despite current market turbulence brought on by the trade war and tariff talks. In spite of this, XRP has been doing exceptionally well. In addition to its excellent performance, we have seen some significant developments on the basic side that genuinely support XRP's usefulness, not only in relation to cryptocurrency, but also in the way that TradFi and DeFi are convergent through tokenization and other means. However, we already know that the entire cryptocurrency landscape is evolving even beyond price movements. In terms of current debates about legislation and policies to assist stablecoin initiatives and utility-based crypto projects, 2025 has been a highly significant year. Additionally, XRP is also receiving a lot of attention from the institutional community. WisdomTree first and foremost. For this, a huge thank you to SmokeDog. In 2025 have WisdomTree. They emphasize that XRP is the most popular altcoin. Given that XRP has been outperforming the majority of the top 100, this is hardly shocking. And here is a March overview that we actually have from WisdomTree. Thus, Megablock and Walt remain in line with market dynamics thanks to WisdomTree's February 2025 crypto basket rebalance. Nothing changes with the asset. However, strategic weights have been changed to account for changing trends, with older coins, led by XRP, the most volatile yet surpassing megacaps. Disciplined exposure to the changing crypto landscape is guaranteed by our excellent and institutional approach. The amusing thing about this is that it's not just knowledge trees. For example, wisdom trees are highlighting XRP. However, if we consider some of the items such as XRP ETFs, which are mostly driven by Tukrem, the CEO of Tukrem stated that he enjoys XRP and that it will be utilized as a tool for money transfers in the future. However, he continues by saying that the system is already in place and that there is enough XRP in the world. Institutions believe that XRP is a good investment. Take a look. I enjoy the asset and they are intelligent individuals. As a result, we anticipated that the new SEC would have a more, let's say, accommodative attitude toward cryptocurrency. To put it another way, we started working and filed as soon as the new SEC arrived and the old SEC was shut down. After 75 days, we launched as quickly as we could, and the process was excellent. It was difficult. We had great tickers, and we're glad to be here. Is a value store, and you were merely mentioning what Ripple is doing. However, how would you like to define XRP? Merely on a fundamental level. I tell people that it will be utilized as a tool, regardless of whether that is a proper explanation. It's a mechanism that will be used to move assets, mostly money, around the world more quickly and nearly instantly. They developed the system and the platform. There are enough XRPs in circulation. Their plan for disseminating information is excellent. They want to be regulated, they are willing to be regulated, and everything will be better regulated. Additionally, we're happy that the administration seems to be quite supportive of cryptocurrency. Therefore, I believe that XRP has several applications, chief among them being the swift transfer of funds and assets. All right. Indeed, it goes without saying that we consider the space's future while considering utility. Among the best will be projects like XRP, right? However, Standard Chartered and other institutional players are also taken into consideration. Standard Chartered recently forecast that XRP will reach $12.50 by 2028. I now believe this to be a fairly conservative perspective. This now relates to legal clarity as well as ETFs. The thing that interests me the most about this XRP projection is that they also anticipate that Bitcoin will reach $500,000 within this period. Now, why does that surprise me so much? It's somewhat remarkable in my opinion, because if Bitcoin is worth $500K, the market capitalization would be $10.5 trillion. Therefore, I don't think it makes much sense for them to forecast that Bitcoin will reach $500,000 and that XRP will reach roughly $12.50. Due to the fact that even when accounting for the whole quantity of XRP, which is $100 billion, even though it isn't, at $12.50, the market capitalization is $1.25 trillion compared to $10 trillion or more for Bitcoin. That isn't a reasonable general prediction, in my opinion. And I genuinely believe that this is done to convince us to sell XRP sooner rather than later because really, why would I keep on to XRP for another 3 or 4 years, being aware that it will only reach around $12.50? This, in my opinion, is really meant to destroy our incentive to own XRP. However, we're also hearing at the same time from other institutional actors, such as Bitwise, who predict that Bitcoin will surpass $1 million by 2029. In light of it, the market capitalization of Bitcoin has doubled, or more than $20 trillion. If it were the case, XRP's value would be much higher, rather than $12.50, as it has defeated Bitcoin in terms of performance thus far this year. And forever, isn't it? When considering the long-term perspective, many people will reply, well, you know, Bitcoin has outperformed XRP so far. Listen, XRP performed significantly better than Bitcoin in 2017 and 2018. Even though XRP was delisted from all of the main exchanges and we were involved in a lawsuit, we still nearly beat Bitcoin in 2021. The fact that we're much outperforming Bitcoin this time around intrigues me greatly. Indeed, XRP has beaten Bitcoin from 2022 until the present, even when considering the full cycle. Given that Bitcoin is expected to reach $1 million by 2029, what is the actual outlook for XRP at that time? It isn't $12.50 in my opinion. It's hardly even $20 in my opinion. Given these wild forecasts for Bitcoin, I wouldn't be shocked if XRP reached $50 or more by 2029. However, if these Bitcoin forecasts come true, that is taken into consideration. However, if we consider XRP to be so valuable, what about the rich list? Because you currently need roughly 51,563 XRP to be in the top 1%. Now, most individuals might find it to be a startling figure. It's difficult to come by today with 50,000 plus XRP. However, what about the very top, for example 10% of the top 5%, when discussing 2,500 XRP, or even nearly 9,000 XRP? Again, that seems like a rather impossible goal for the typical investor to accomplish today. However, consider the prices at which, similar to the previous year, we did have the chance to accumulate XRP. At one point, for example, XRP was down to about 40 cents. The average, in my opinion, is roughly 50 cents. Correct. Furthermore, most individuals believe that if they were present in 2022, 2023, 2024, or 2025, they had a very long period of time to accumulate XRP on the low. In order to